Elon Musk's growing empire. He's got the solar thing and Solar City. He's got the SpaceX rocket ship, and he's got Tesla motor car, and now he's got this new battery wall. I think that's part of Solar City, but he's got all of this, and it's fueled by nearly $5 billion in government subsidies. And I'm thinking, well, I thought this guy was worth $1 billion or whatever. But he was like he's worth multi-millions of dollars. How is this happening? Evidently, he's built a multi-billion-dollar fortune running companies that make electric cars, sell solar panels, and launch rockets into space. And he's built those companies with the help of billions in government subsidies. Tesla Motors, Solar City, and Space Exploration Technologies, known as SpaceX, together have benefited from an estimated $4.9 billion in government support, according to data compiled by The Times. The figure underscores a common theme running through his emerging empire, a public-private financing model, and underpinning long shot startups. So the way his model runs, I fully understand why he's not. Yeah, if he's not turning a profit on Tesla Motors, it's because he can't sell them. Because he refuses to go the old way of doing it, and he wants to just be able to sell, which I can't blame him. You cut out the middleman. Why does our government insist on requiring that this man sell his cars the same way that GM and Ford and all the other guys have to sell their cars? And I think, why do they have to do that in the first place? All it's going to do is drive up the price of the vehicle. And he says, well, why? Yeah, why should we have to do that in the first place? Why are we going to go that route? We shouldn't have to go that route if we don't want to go that route. Why is it the government's going to tell me how I get to build my business? And, he's got a good point. And he's taken some states to. I think he won in New Jersey. So now in New Jersey, you can get a Tesla car without having to go to a dealership. And I guess in a few. Pipes or tailpipes, so you don't pay attention to the, where it's registered, I guess, or where it's plated. But I was kind of surprised to learn about this. I didn't realize this was happening. Now, it isn't that I have a like Donald Trump is one of my financial heroes. It's not that Elon Musk is a financial hero of mine. He's not, really. And I really don't know an awful lot about him. Yeah, he's the guy that I think he started eBay, or not eBay, but PayPal, and he sold it to eBay. Look, he's just for that alone, I probably shouldn't like him. But I don't look at him as being this business guru type of person. But I do like his chutzpah. I do like he's done a lot in the private space sector with SpaceX. A lot like Richard Branson has done with the Virgin brand name and everything, trying to go into space. But they're spending a ton of money for that kind of thing. But it was really due to his electric motor. It was all electric, and it started out with That I don't know. See, this is how much of a fan I am of it. I'm really not. But I do know it was that supercar electric car that was like did 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds for an electric car. And I do know that there were some issues with it. Some people couldn't get it started for whatever reason. If you let the batteries totally drain and die out, that they couldn't be recharged or something. There were technical issues with the thing. And it was for a super sports car, it was kind of expensive. But no more than any of the other super sports cars out there. But he came out with more family, I guess, sedans that were around the price of a low end Mercedes or Beamer, more affordable. And evidently they're working because I just saw one on a New York highway doing 70 miles per hour down the road. Well, he wasn't going because there is no engine, so it can't go maybe it's just going something like that. So that's probably what you heard when you were in it. But look, I really should probably look into one because evidently I'm being told by everybody who knows I'm starting to have mechanical issues with my car. Saying, yep, that's 8-year-old car, right? Time for a new one. Everybody's telling me that. This is the first mechanical issue I've had with this Scion since owning it. It's got 230,000 miles on it. Yeah, now is the time. It's going to have those issues now. Oh, really? I mean, I baby my cars. Really? Shouldn't I just fix it? No. You shouldn't bother. Just go out there and get a new one. Help support the economy, Rod. Get a new one. So if that's everybody's telling me that, maybe I should. I don't like car payments, though. I like driving a free car, basically. When you don't have car payments and you're not paying for, major repair bills, you're basically driving. All you're doing is, paying for the gas and regular maintenance. It's basically driving a free car. I kind of like that. But no, time for a new one, Rod. Got to get out there and get a new one. So maybe I'll have to look at a Tesla so I can pass those gas stations by. Again, I don't know the. I wouldn't. Considering, I don't think I can. It would be wise to have a Tesla if there aren't enough powering stations, because I wouldn't be able to drive it very far, evidently. Because it's between where I live and where my family still lives is a good distance away, and I think it's beyond the limit of, or beyond the range of the Tesla without having to recharge it. Not to mention going through Vermont or Massachusetts, the western half of Massachusetts, with all the mountains and hills and stuff, would probably drain the battery much faster. So I'd need to at least charge once on the trip there. And how long would that take? So maybe that's not practical for me. I'd have to look into it. So, but for other people, that it might be very. Look, it looks good on the road. Looks very good on the road, but whether or not. My whole thing is with the subsidies. If you don't have the chops, then you shouldn't be propped up by government. But then again, in this particular case, government may be barring, certain entry for Tesla motors. I mean, let's face it. If you've got government laws that say, well, you cannot, you have to develop this network. Well, that would take longer. That would be harder to do because now you got to go out and find a franchise, person, and they got to build this showroom and he's like, no, I can just put up the showroom and just sell directly. But, he's told in a lot of states, no, you can't do that. So government's in the way. So maybe this is why he needs the subsidies for Tesla, because government gets in the way. Now, if government get out of the way, Yeah, I know a lot of people would say, well, geez, well, you should let the market handle it. Well, I think the market might be quite open to Elon Musk and his Tesla. Just saying. I don't know. If the price were to come down a little bit, I'm seriously considering looking into it now. My only thing is the range is going to be a big negative for me. But if I just use it as a regular get around town commute car, I wonder, maybe I can get it to pay for itself by being an Uber driver. Can you be an Uber driver with a Tesla? It's Uber, right? Uber, I don't know, one of those, ride sharing taxi type of services. I do know you got to have a 4-door, so it's got to be like a minivan or a 4-door sedan or something like that. How cool would that be, getting in a Tesla for an Uber ride? Yeah, just thinking out loud. It might be worth that. You're not paying for gas or anything, so just paying for a little. I don't know how much electric bill is going to go up if you do that. But anyway, Bernie Sanders likens 1972 essay to 50 Shades of Grey. Now, yeah. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont is calling a recently uncovered 1972 essay that included lines on rape and sexuality a very poorly written piece that attempted to deal with gender stereotypes. He said, "This is a piece of fiction that I wrote in 1972. That was 43 years ago. It was very poorly written," Mr. Sanders said on this week on NBC's Meet the Depressed. And if you read it, what it was dealing with was gender stereotypes. Why some men like to oppress women, why other women like to be submissive. Something like 50 Shades of Grey, a very poorly written 43 years ago. So I guess Mr. Sanders is saying, well, yeah, I wrote something like 50 Shades of Grey, 43 years ago, but it was very poorly written. And it was just a piece of fiction. Now he's saying it was a piece of fiction. I thought he really wouldn't even have addressed it because it was 40 years ago. I just thought he said, well, that's 40 years ago, and it was what it was back in the day. But now he's saying it's a piece of fiction. But I thought he was doing an actual story on how women like to portray themselves sometimes. Now, and it was in a Mother Jones. The 72 essay revealed in a Mother Jones piece last week was published in an alternative newspaper called The Vermont Freeman. It included lines like, "A woman enjoys intercourse with her man as she fantasizes being raped by 3 men simultaneously." Now, I don't see a storyline there. Now, he says, "What I'm focusing on right now are the issues impacting the American people today. And that's what I will continue to focus on and what I think the American people want to hear." I think maybe there are some women out there that want to hear Mr. Sanders if you think that's how they think. I mean, because this does, go to whether or not you are out of touch with the general public or not. Do you honestly, what women want to know, do you believe that this is what women think about when they're, with their husband or boyfriend and, they're in the throes of a romantic interchange, if you will, that they're thinking about being raped by 3 different men? Gang rape. I mean, how do you even say, the way it's written, how would he even possibly say that is, fiction? Again, is Mr. Sanders lying about this? Even if it's just fiction, just goes to show where his head was at the time, where his thought process took him. And it really hasn't changed at all since then. Other than now, he's a politician who's trying to become president, and he knows that he cannot say that kind of stuff without it being